Here we go with the important concepts and 1 mark questions of the subject programming for problem solving, that is PPS. And from the unit 1, unit 3 and unit 5 I have included all the topics because these 3 chapters are the most important one. And then here we go with the unit 1, introduction to programming, creating, compiling and executing of a program. This is the important one. And algorithms for finding roots of a quadratic equation, and finding minimum and maximum numbers, finding number is a prime number or not. So from these three are the important one, and it can be asked for the 5 marks or the 1 mark. And in structure of C, you have to explain the C structure, global declaration, documentation section and so on. And then storage classes is the most important one, compulsorily you will get this question. And command line arguments is also the most important one. Then data types, loops like a do while loop and for loop. Then statements like break, continue and go to. These 3 are the most important. You have to explain these 3 terms and you have to write a program on this. Then operators, so all operators like bitwise, arithmetic, logical, relational, conditional and increment or decrement, all these operators. So from this all you can get any one question. So the important are bitwise operators, relational operators and conditional operators are the important one. So you have to explain them and you have to write a program on those. So compulsorily you will get a question from these 6 topics. And then define algorithm, flowchart and pseudocode. So representation of an algorithm, it can be represented in 2 ways, as a flowchart and a pseudocode. So you have to explain these 3 terms and an example on them. Then coming to the unit 2, we have arrays, strings, structures and pointers. So we have the 4 topics here. From these 4 topics we can expect each question from each topic. So from arrays we have the topics like addition of 2 matrices, multiplication of 2 matrices and transpose of a matrix. So from these 3 topics you can get any one question in the exam. So because these 3 topics are based on the 2-dimensional arrays. And then types of arrays, you have to describe the types of arrays, what is an array, and then after 1-dimensional array and 2-dimensional array you have to describe the declaration, accessing of them and initialization of the 1-dimensional and 2-dimensional arrays. So you have to explain the types of arrays very briefly. So these are the important one from the arrays topic. And then coming to the strings, we have only one question here, that is a basic string functions available in C. So string handling functions or string manipulating functions or string functions means the same. So those are string length, string reverse, string lowercase, string uppercase, string copy, string concatenation, string compare and string functions. So these are the 8 string functions. You have to explain them very briefly. And the next from the structures topic, we have what is structure and explain how to declare, initialize and access the structure elements. So you have to explain the declaration of structure, initialization of a structure and accessing of a structure, and you have to write an example program on it. So this is the most important, it can be expected from this topic. And then explain how to declare, initialize and access the union elements. It's not most the important, but have a grip on this question. Then distinguish between structures and unions. This can be asked for the 1 mark or 5 marks, but very rarely. You have to differentiate between structures and unions. Then from pointers, we have pointers in self-referential structures, and enumeration data type is the most important one. And discuss pointers to array and structures with its syntax and example. So from pointers to array and from pointers to structure, we have to describe them briefly. So this is the most important. These 2 topics are the important from this pointers, enumeration and the pointers to array and structures. Then here we go with the unit 3. As I told you, I have included all the topics. So this is the most important one. So the topics I have included are preprocessor commands. This is the most important. You will get this question compulsorily. preprocessor commands or directives like #include, #define, #andif, #if, #ifdef, #if and if. So these are the 6 preprocessor commands. Be thorough with the theory part, syntax and the program, then after output of for each program. So compulsorily you will get this question from this unit 3. And coming to the files part, we have the two types of files in this: text files and binary files. So you have to describe the text files and binary files, or the question may be like differentiate text files and binary files, and etc. And the next, creating, reading and writing of a text file. This is the most important one. So we have to create nothing but opening and closing of a text file, reading of a text file and writing of a text file. And coming to the binary files is also the same: creating, reading and writing of a binary files. So combinedly these two questions can be asked for the 10 marks or 5 marks. Then we have the modes like append mode, writing mode and write mode and read mode. So you have to explain them. This is not most important. Then file operations are the most important. We have the operations like fprintf, fscanf, fgetS, fgetC and fclose, fopen, and all those operations comes under this file operations topic. So this is also the most important. They give you any two operations and you have to explain them along with the example program. So from this unit 3 we have these 3 topics, and also random accessing using fseek, ftell and rewind functions. This is also the most important one, which can be expected from the files part. So we have to explain fseek, ftell, rewind, and along with the syntax theory part, then after syntax, and also the program, then after output. So this is the most important. So preprocessor commands and random accessing using fseek, and creating, reading, writing of the binary files and text files. These 3 topics are the most important one from unit 3. So anyhow, go thoroughly with all these topics from the unit 3. Then here we go with the unit 4, function and dynamic memory allocation. So we have the two parts here, function and the recursion. From function we can expect the topics as different passing parameters. So passing parameters to function, call by value, and passing arrays to function, passing pointers to function. So these topics comes under the passing parameters. This is the most important one from the functions part. And standard C functions. C functions and the libraries, nothing but we have the math.h library function and some other C functions. So we have to describe them. And from recursion part we have C program of finding factorial and Fibonacci series. So here factorial and Fibonacci series. So from this 2 we can expect one question compulsorily from this recursion part. This is the most important one. And the next, dynamic memory allocation. So dynamic memory allocation is also the most important question. And then C program to towers of Hanoi and its diagram. So you have to explain the towers of Hanoi along with the C program with the diagram also. So these 3 are the important topics from the recursion. So these first two topics are the most important, and from functions different passing parameters is the most important. Then from unit 5, that is searching and sorting. So as I told you, here also I have included all the topics. So from searching we have the 2 topics, those are linear search and binary search. These 2 are the most important one. Compulsorily you will get a question on it, either on linear search, either on binary search, or both of these 2 searches. Then from sorting we have bubble sort, insertion sort, selection sort. So selection sort is not most important, but bubble sort and insertion sort is the most important from this both. Then questions will be like apply linear search on the list of elements, or bubble sort or binary search. So they give you the list of elements in this way, and they ask you to apply linear search or bubble sort or binary search. It means you have to write the step-by-step process here. No need of writing a program. You have to describe linear search or the question given as. Then another question will be like, what do you mean by sorting? Mention the different types of sorting. So the question may be like this also. So these are the long answer topics from all the chapters. So be thorough with the unit 3, unit 5 and the unit 1. So don't leave any topic from the unit 3 and unit 5, because these two topics are chapters are very small and easy to understand. So my suggestion is to go with the unit 3 first. So complete the unit 3, and from these long answers just go in a way that take any topic and complete the theory part first. Then after, go with the syntax, be perfect with the syntax. Then after, go with the program, and after that go with the output of the program. So practice in such a way, go topic wise, and unit 3 and unit 5 complete them from top to bottom. So don't leave any topic from these two chapters, and it's depend on you what you want to go after unit 3 and unit 5. So but unit 3 and unit 5 are the very easy chapters and the most important chapters. Then here we go with the 1 mark questions. From unit 1 we have what is pseudocode, what is flowchart, explain with one example, name any 5 features of C programming language, and what is use of preprocessor commands, name few standard input and output functions. Then from unit 2, what is an array, types of an array, define string, mention string manipulating functions, nothing but string length is those functions you need to mention here. Then discuss string length function with an example. So questions can be asked in such a way, discuss string reverse and discuss string lowercase, discuss string concatenation. So it can be asked in such a way. Then what are the applications of an array, then how to declare, define and initialize a pointer, write advantages and disadvantages of using pointer. Then from unit 3, define preprocessor directives and why files are needed, what is file, and write types of files. Types of files you have text files and binary files. And then mention steps in operations of text file. So we have the operations of text file. We have to mention the steps. First we have to open the file, then after we have to read, write, or in such a way we have to write the steps in the operations of the text files, or it can be asked for the binary files also. And then describe modes of a file. So write mode, read mode and appending mode. Then explaining opening and closing of a file. So how we can open and close a file, explain with an example program. Then explain fseek function with example. So it can be asked as fseek or ftell or rewinder. So in such a way it can be asked. Then from unit 4 we have describe library functions, and then define user defined functions, and then what are the limitations of recursive functions. This is the most important one, limitations of recursive functions. It can be asked in the 5 marks also. Then from unit 5 you have how binary search works, how linear search is different from binary search. It means you have to differentiate linear search and binary search. So these are the important topics from the 1 mark questions from the all chapters. So go with all these topics very perfectly. So unit 3 and unit 5 are the most important one. Don't leave any topics from those two chapters. And then the tips for the programming for problem solving I have explained in the video. I'll mention it in the description box. Check the video. So don't forget to write the output for each and every program. That is the most important one. And thank you.